Yes, get started. I am Bin Kim, and this presentation is for preliminary thesis inspection. And the topic of this study is face robot as recommendation agent, especially the role of the facial expression and expertise on users' decision making. Before we jump into the study, there are some starting points. First of all, there's data theory, computer and social actor theory, which means the same criteria done with the human agents are likely to non-human agents such as media or computer. However, will this theory apply to human-robot interaction as well? And according to the main model, there are 4 affordances: modality, agency, and interactivity, and navigability. A given affordance conveys a certain cue, like triggers or heuristics such as social presence or authority, leading to an autonomic deduction that triggered heuristic means quality. Thus, it affects the level of credibility to the agent. So for further uses of robot as recommendation agent, trustworthy robot is important, and the trust would lead users' decision making. So how could we elicit the trust toward the robot? For this question, I've got these 2: expressed emotion and expertise. Here are research model. A facial expression of robot triggers social presence heuristics, leading to trust toward robot. And role assigning triggers authority or expertise heuristics, leading to trust toward robot. And these trust toward robot affects the intention to adopt and risk-taking behavior. So here are research questions. For users controlling time spent with robot, what is the relationship between expressed emotion, expertise, and intention to adopt risk-taking behavior? And for robot users, control time spent with the robot, what is the relationship between expressed emotion and users' trust toward the robot? And for robot users, controlling time spent with the robot, what is the relationship between expertise of robot and users' trust toward the robot? So here are some research backgrounds. According to the Russell, emotion can be mapped into positive or negative based on valence. And emotion has its effects on people's decision making. For example, the pain regarding loss looks larger to people in positive moods than the one in the negative moods, because they tend to averse risk and get mood maintenance. And also in risk judgment, people in negative mood are more pessimistic. But how could we express this emotion through the robot? Among other ways, we choose facial expression. This facial expression contributes the degree of social presence of communication medium. And physical cues such as facial expression cause people to make inference about social presence. Also, the anthropomorphic features, regardless it's visible or not, trigger social presence heuristics. Next one is expertise. There is authority or expertise heuristics, which means expert statements can be trusted. So the presence of expert triggers these heuristics, and the expertise guarantees the credibility and source of message. According to the Cohen-Sundar study, a specialist media technology triggers greater trust toward media and product description than those of generalist media. So if you got some information from Wall-E about recycling matters, that information would be credible because Wall-E is a kind of specialist of recycling. And the next one is trust and risk-taking. Trust affects the truster's risk-taking behavior according to the Mayo. So the level of the trust affects the amount of risk-taking the truster is willing to take in relationship. So this Mayer expects that the trust have a positive influences on risk-taking because trust is likely to elevate concerns regarding possible negative consequences. Also, Ruman has argued that trust is one of the key factors for reducing the perceived risk of the negative outcome in a given situation. I suggested intention to adopt as one of DBs. So intention to adopt as decision aid or deleted decision agent. So there are two intentions to adopt the agent. So first one is intention to adopt decision making. This means that the extent to which customer is willing to let a recommendation agent narrow down the choice. So these kind of decision agent assist the decision making. And the intention to adopt as a deleted agent, which means that the extent to which a customer is willing to let a recommendation agent make a decision. So this recommendation agent automates the decision making of participants or people. So in their study, Comiak and Benfast's study, both emotional and cognitive trust affect consumers' intention to adopt. Here are methods. First one, IV is spatial expression of robot and role assigning. And BVs are trust, intention to adopt, and risk-taking behavior. And the experimental design is between subject design. First condition is spatial robot expression, positive, neutral, negative. And role assigning is a specialist or generalist. So there are 6 conditions. And participants will be about 90 SKKU students. And risk-taking task is balloon analog risk task. This balloon analog risk task is developed by Lejos et al. This task was designed to assess risk performance. And in this task, participants inflate the computerized balloon, and the goal of these participants is to inflate the balloon to its maximum inflation, but no more. So in each trial, each successful pump is worth 5 cents, and if the balloon is inflated past its individual explosion point, it pops, and participants lose all the money earned on that balloon. And there are total 30 trials. And this is the example of the balloon analog risk task. So in this task, the facial robot recommends how many times participants will be pump up the balloon. So if the facial robot recommends that I would recommend to pump up the balloon 15 times, then participants push the button to pump up the balloon, or they could they could choose the button to collect the dollars. So participants basically has choose between pump up the balloon or collect the dollars. And here some procedure. Contents are informed, and participants divided into two groups: a specialist group and generalist group. And they also divide into three expression conditions: positive, negative, neutral Bayesian expression condition. And after the experiment, they are filling out the questionnaire about their trust, orientation, and all the DBs. And that's it. It's all the presentation.
Okay.
Okay.
So why did you choose this BART, this balloon analog risk task? This one in particular, or you consider other alternatives, or any reason for this particular? Is kind of a standard procedure for measuring risk taking, or?
Actually, there are scales like through surveys. But the balloon, this BART task is behavioral risk taking method. So yeah, so there's a many method or test assesses risk taking behavior, but this balloon test quite simple. Like they are their choice. Pump up the balloon or collect dollars. So I thought that this is quite participants do not use their much of cognitive sources. Then they just decide how many pump up, or they trust robot and adopt their recommendation, and they're just instinctively. I mean, for example, there's card games to assess the risk-taking behavior, but there's a lot of rules or participants kind of regarding many things like how many cards they flip over. So yeah, basically this BART is simple and triggers heuristics, I think.
Okay. So what do you plan to say when you introduce the face robots in these two conditions, or these two cases as specialists and generalists?
Yes.
So how do you plan to do it? You're going to explain, and so what kind of explanation are you going to give to the user to make it credible? A specialist in what? Or in balloons? Or in what?
But actually I think that I will introduce the face robot as specialist of gambling. And so this robot is made from gambling company, or this robot programmed in specialist in gambling. So basically, we give the description to participants.
And in the case of generalists, you don't say anything, or you say it's good for everything? Or?
Other things would be same, but I would introduce this face robot as just recommendation agent, not specialist. just.
Okay, because this is important if it's, all the result is based on this, that the user really believe that this is a specialist or not. So I suggest that you really think and devise with care how you're going to present, giving some arguments and make it credible. Not say that this is a specialist in gambling, or this is, just try to elaborate on that and give us a kind of a, like this story where a telemetry is manufactured by a company and it's being used, it's based on some artificial intelligence and whatever for gambling. So make it like kind of a story so that it's credible for the users. That it's not just a statement. Okay, and also you can give it in. You plan to give it in as a written information that they can read before, and then you explain, because then they are receiving the information through two channels, and that reinforces the message. I think. And then what about for the facial expressions? You would use one of the expressions that are provided, the software that is provided with the robots.
Yes.
And just it's kind of because in this model that you show, there are many options, and and you're selecting just three. One positive, and so it will be the same expression for all the users. So one positive, always say negative and neutral.
Yes.
But then how are you going to select these particular expressions? Because positive and negative, you can have different kind of variations.
Yes.
It can be just calm or more pleased or enthusiastic or.
Yes.
So how are you going to do that?
Actually, the face robot has already programmed facial expressions such as big laugh or sad, crying. So using this facial expression, I would divide it, same amount of positive expression and negative expression, or neutral as no expression. And I would definitely conduct a pilot test, which tests this facial expression really means positive.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes.
Because the emotion that you want to convey is just positive.
Yes.
Because the positive is just an overall description, and there can be details or variations in between different kinds of positiveness and negativeness. So, if you want to measure positive, try to avoid other implications. That is just kind of positive. So that thing is a good idea, the pilot study, and you should invest some time in selecting, because all the result depends on that, this positiveness, and together with the credibility of this expertise, that it is really perceived as such. Otherwise, it won't work, because if the users are not receiving this right affordances and heuristics, then it's not going to work. Okay. Apart from that, I think it's well devised and it's a good plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.